Hi, good evening. Welcome to the annual Caribbean lectureship updates. As we have been doing over the last couple of weeks, we've been updating you as to what's happening in this exciting upcoming program for Barbados 2025. We've had our previous presenters, the chairman, Brother Thaddeus Bruno. We've had the local committee with Brother Graham, who was on with us to be able to share with us what awaits us in Barbados. And today we have Sister Alison Jha, who is responsible on the committee for assisting us with registrations. And there are a number of things that are new that in many other annual Caribbean lectureships before that we did not have such an as an app. So she'll give us that update. Sister Jha, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Brother Stewart. Welcome to everyone, brothers and sisters. We are thrilled to have you here and equally looking forward to your attendance at the annual Caribbean Lectureship in Bridgetown, Barbados from July 13th to the 16th, 2025.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us, what are the things that a person who's hopeful of attending, what's the registration process like?
Okay, so anyone who is interested in attending the annual Caribbean Lectureship would have to register as a participant. In the past, our registration used to be on site mainly, where persons walk in and they come to a table and we register them using manual forms. But we have upgraded over the last 3 years, and we successfully did a full run of that registration process in Aruba last year. So we're quite pleased to replicate that process for Barbados. Registration attracts a fee of $60, US $60 for participants. Local registrants are 40 Barbados dollars, and we have 40 US dollars, sorry, and 20 US dollars
Wonderful,
for
wonderful.
children. So if I could share my screen to take you through the registration process. Most of you would still be familiar with the website. So the website is caribbeanlectureship.com. You could go to the website and see the upcoming information. At the home screen, you will go to the link that says register for the lectureship. And that registration will take you to what we call the Church Center app. It's an application that you could download on your phone or on your whatever device that you have, be it Android or Apple. You could download that app onto your phone. It's quite user-friendly, but I will be using, just for the purposes of demonstration, I will be using I have a laptop in front of me and I could take you through the registration process. So when you go to the app, the Church Center app, you will see the logo, Annual Caribbean Lectureship for Barbados. Make sure that you're seeing that logo that shows you that you're in the right place. Then you click on register. What the app allows you to do is to create an account. You create an account with your username and it will ask you for a password. In my case, I have already created that account, but you can go in and create your own account using your own username and password. Now, in this case, it tells me that it sent me a 6-digit code. So I already received an email in my inbox telling me that there's a code waiting for me.
Oh.
So I click on the code. My code here is 683177. And that is because I already have an email address. So it already says, hello, Allison. If you did not register yet, if you have not created a username and password, it will ask you to go through that process. But since I already have one, it would not allow me to create a new username and password. So I log in as myself, Allison Ja, and I can put in the information. So it asks you, first of all, how many people are you registering for? You can say you're registering for 2 adults. You could say you're registering for 1 teen, for how many youth, how many children. There's no fee for children up to 2 years old, or you're registering how many locals. So you have the option to determine who you're registering and what categories they fall into. After you've done so, you go down and you click next. Now, again, this is demonstration. I don't want it to mess up my own registration, but let's say I'm registering 2 adults. I go to the adult and you put in the person's names. In my case, I have already, I will actually do a real life because I have to register my son. I just remembered that. So my
All right,
son,
so while you are lining that up, let me just remind persons that we are doing the update for Barbados 2025 or ACL. So while she gets all of that lined up, if you wish to call in and ask your question directly to Sister Ja, you may call on WhatsApp at 868-480-0080. It is running across your screen. You can use that there in order to call us and to be able to pose your questions. Yes, sister.
great. Yes. So I am registering one person, one adult. I click next. It will ask you to select the person that you want to create. And I had already created profiles for my family members. So I will click on my son's name, Branja, and then put in all his information. His date of birth, which is February 8th, 2001. His phone number, 758-721-1901. His email address is officialbrand@gmail.com. It already has the default emergency contact because I had it for the others, and click next. The beauty of the app is you can put in a profile. If you do not yet have your flight itinerary, you can come back to that exact profile and update it with your flight itinerary, your hotel accommodation, and you can also come back to pay later. The
Okay,
app
so just before you go on there, because that was the question I think that many people had. They thought they needed to have hotel, flights, and everything lined up and must be confirmed, and then now they could now register. You are saying that persons can register and then come back and fill in those others that you are saying.
that is correct. So you
Awesome.
create your profile, and if you do not yet have your flight itinerary, you can always go back to the app and update that information.
So let me use this time to encourage people to register as early as possible, having heard this, so that we will be able to cater for the persons who plan on attending. and then make sure that you update your information as you go on. So please, this is a very crucial part of the information that we've just heard there. Thank you.
Yes, that is it. Um, Now remember, the local organizing committee is responsible for providing transportation from the airport to your hotel and back. And so your flight itinerary is extremely important to them so that they will go to the airport at the various times to pick up attendees. In the past, from experience and in many countries, we've heard stories of people just coming in on the airport and the committee was not aware that they were coming in on particular flights.
Yes, yes.
This
I've heard of
information,
those situations also.
that's right, and people get upset because they were not picked up. But if you do not provide your flight itinerary, then it will be difficult for the committee to make transportation arrangements to have you picked up. Also, the information on your hotel accommodation is extremely important as well. So, and your contact information. So all of this must be included. There's a form, and I will go to the next phase is to review and pay. So the cost of branch participation is $60. It allows you to use a credit card or a debit card. Now, Brother Stewart, it is important again, since we have upgraded ourselves to the electronic system. I know some people have electronic apathy. People are afraid to use their credit card, but put their credit card on the internet. But e-commerce is all over. We use our debit and credit cards on Amazon, on, shopping online. And so this app up to now is quite secured.
Wonderful.
And what it does for the lectureship committee is that the funds go directly into a bank account that we could use immediately. In addition to that, there are foreign currency exchange regulations. No one can travel, or if someone has to travel with more than 10,000 US dollars, they need to get exchange clearance from a particular country. And so if we do many cash transactions, then the treasurer would have to bear that responsibility. Now, our treasurer resides in the Bahamas. This event is taking place in Barbados. Barbados has very strict currency regulations, foreign currency regulations. The treasurer may not have the time to get the clearance to carry that cash. And we know the security arrangements that would have to go with it as well, or the security risks of carrying that heavy amount of cash to another country.
Yes.
Then he takes the US dollars and he brings it to the Bahamas to deposit in the bank account. There would have to be source of funds, declarations, and all of these things in order for him to be able to do that. So what we did over the last year was to get a bank account in the name of the annual Caribbean lectureship, which is attached to this registration system that allows for all transactions, all payments to be made directly into the bank account and available for use immediately. So
that increases the efficiency of the entire program and also reduces the length of time people have to stay at registration desks.
Precisely. And sometimes at registration desk, we don't have change. So
Yes.
people have to be asking around. We have to have a float. There's a security risk to us at the counter, at the desk. And there's also a security risk to all those who are handling cash. So we want to be as cashless as possible. We know that we will not have 100% cashless system, but as far as possible, we encourage people to pay using the app.
A question that I want to ask, if somebody is paying with a credit card that says EC, will that make the automatic translation into US when it hits the this app?
Yes. The
Okay.
app is in US dollars. It will take your cash in US dollars.
Wow.
Okay?
So
Now,
then this process looks as though I'm trying to calculate it. This is less than probably 2 minutes of an activity just to put in all that information and then to press click. I think that is
that,
about 2 to 3 minutes in all.
that's right. But we need another 3 or 4 more minutes for us to complete the entire process if
Right.
you have all of your information.
Okay.
So it has already given you a receipt. It says, thanks, your registration for the 52nd Annual Caribbean Lectureship 2025 Barbados has been submitted. A confirmation has been sent to your Yahoo account. And here are your registration details below. So it tells you that you've paid $60. It gives you your profile information. But the last step now is to go to additional forms. If you see that link at the bottom, it says view. So you click on the view link, the view, yes, link. And it is asking you now for your arrival and departure details. Okay?
All right.
So if I just get the arrival details for Grant, let me just
All right.
get,
So while she's looking for details, let me just say hello to Carol Ramirez. Carol, good evening. And she says, greetings from Bermuda, beautiful Bermuda. And yes, we are looking forward to seeing you in Barbados. Pontiana Bruno, thank you very much for joining us. And Christine Graham, that should be Barbados itself. Thank you very much for joining us. Shirley Jones, Peters, and Green, and more. Thank you all very much for being with us today. Doris Singh, Brooklyn, New York. Davina Lightborn, Brighton Hill Church of Christ in Bermuda. Thank you all very much for joining us. We are giving you the update of how to register. This system has been within recent times. So you'll see that the particular group that would have been responsible for registration brought us into this century. Before we were very archaic and so on, and this is a much smoother and more we say trackable method of doing things. Yep.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
we're looking forward for your participation. Make sure you register early. Yes, my sister.
Yes. So when you get to your arrival and departure details, excuse me, you will get a drop-down menu that gives you all of the authorized accommodation options. And I said authorized
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I didn't realize
because,
that.
yes, the local organizing committee has gone and done an inspection of the various accommodation that is close enough to the venue. The venue is the Hilton Barbados Hotel, but there are other properties that are close by or within transportation limits to get to the Hilton Barbados. I'm very familiar with Barbados. I studied in Barbados. So there's a bus route where buses they ply the route along Hilton. So some of these hotels are within that bus route. So you would be able to go. But these properties are all were also selected for security purposes and other things. Now, we know sometimes the properties they come at a fee, and some people may look on the internet and get a property that is a cheaper rate. But just remember, first of all, the lectureship committee cannot be responsible for transportation to and from these properties that are way outside of the lectureship venue. And also you have to bear in mind your security arrangements. You'd have to know exactly, what is on that property.
Let me get some clarity here.
Mm-hmm.
The list of accommodations here, the major one, which is the hotel, plus the auxiliary ones, where also approved areas and have been checked out that this is guaranteed, that this is a reputable location. Those will carry transportation to and from, and those that people who stay outside of these will need to make their own arrangements. Just give us some clarity there.
I cannot speak to the transportation arrangements. What I could say is the local committee would be responsible for taking you from the airport to these locations.
But not necessarily those other locations that are not listed.
No, the other locations that are not listed, you may have to make your own arrangements.
Okay. All right. And I think that's fair enough.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, some of these, Radisson is right next door to the Hilton. They share the same beach. So it's within walking distance. You don't have to pay any transportation. But the others, Savannah too is within walking distance. But the others may be a little away. You may have to pay a bus, one of the buses along the route to take you to the venue and back. So these arrangements are not going to be made by the local committee, but the local committee is committed to taking you from the airport to these properties and back. Yeah. So, as you continue to complete the travel information form, you would state the hotel that you're going to be staying at. In this case, Brant will stay at the Hilton Hotel. His arrival date is going to be July 12th. So you just click on that little box. It's supposed to be able to click. Okay. You click on it and you put July 12th. Put in your arrival flight information. It's JY 0705. It arrives at 9:55 a.m.
All right. If you do have a question and you wish to post your question on the Facebook, please feel free to do so if you have a question. If you wish to call in and speak directly with Sister Ja, use the telephone number that you see running across the screen. The number is 868. Of course, you put a 1 before. 868-480-0080. Hello, Sister Sharon Simmons. Nice having you. And yes, we are looking forward to see you in Barbados. Joanne Elizabeth. Joanne is asking, sister, whether there is a cutoff return date.
I am not. I think customarily the return date is up to the Friday.
All right.
Ends on the Wednesday, so the committee will be transporting people on the Thursday and on the Friday.
Okay. So don't plan to stay over for vacation for another week or so and expect to get transportation to go back, my people.
Yeah. All right. They can, but they would have to make their own transportation arrangements.
There you go.
So here is it. It says airport pickup drop off. Will you be using our free airport shuttle service? So you click yes. You would love to have that, unless you want to have your own, make your own transportation arrangements. And then it asks you for emergency contact information. I will just put in my sister's name.
This thing is very thorough.
Yeah. So if I could just go back to the drop-down menu for the hotels. Um, these are the hotels. Radisson Aquatica Resort, Barbados, like I said, is right next door. Savannah Beach is maybe about a 5-minute walk. Coconut Court Beach Hotel, Courtyard by Marriott, Pomarine Hotel, Melbourne Inn, and other. You can still, if you're not staying at these hotels, you still have the option of putting other, and it will ask you for the name of the hotel that you're going to be staying at. Or whether
That,
I've seen some people saying that they're going to be staying at a friend's house, at some other property, at an Airbnb. So it allows you that leeway to stay anywhere else, but just also include the name of
I
the
think
property.
what is good about that, it gives us a chance for issues that if family is trying to find somebody, we can know where they're staying. If there is some incident that takes place, that we could be able to tell where all the persons who are attending to the Caribbean lectureship, where they are at any point in time as far as their residence is concerned. I think that is quite a nice addition to the program.
That's right. And then you press submit. So, like I said, if you do not yet have that information, you can always go back to the form and add your information. It allows you to edit the information. If you made an error, go back. You can go back and edit the information. Okay? So that is the process of registration. If there are any questions, and everything you do, you get a confirmation email. It will tell you that you got an email saying that your form has been received, your registration is received, your payment has been received, whatever information that you put in there, you will get confirmation of it via email. Over to you, Brother Stewart.
Wow, I think that was so clear, so succinct. So if you do have any questions, then just go back and listen to the recording again of this program to get the information that you need. What you could do, let me see, you could close your screen now. All right. So that was,
I
yes.
just have one tiny, a sister just um said that is that going to be um saved, this live, because my credit card information was viewable, and the sister is suggesting that I have somebody can go back and get the information.
Okay, but they would need the code also.
The code was on it too.
Oh, okay. Then we'll have to find a way to deal with that. So,
Yeah,
uh,
she's asking whether the live can be deleted. I don't know.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So, we'll need to make sure that we deal with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've had some very thorough information on this program of registration. People, we're looking forward for you to utilize it to the best of your ability. We're looking forward to seeing people there in Barbados. Make sure, sometimes we take for granted the need to register as early as possible so that the local people can have time to put things in place, because having to coordinate the number of vehicles. They need to know how many vehicles they will need to use, how many drivers, how many seats they need to have available, which directions that they are going. So please do not wait for last minute in order to do it. Um, Sister Carol Ambrose says, I had noticed that special rates for the preferred hotels only apply from Sunday. Is that an error?
I am not sure of that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
What
All
I
right. So
noticed,
the
what I
accommodation
noticed,
people will need to deal with that, and
yes.
hopefully we're going to have the accommodation people come on to chat about that in due course.
But what I've noticed in the case of Hilton, accommodation was the rates were available 3 days before and 3 days after the lectureship. Um, I am not sure what it is in the case of, but again, I would advise participants to use the links that are provided in the app for the various accommodation for the various hotels. Do not go
Oh,
directly to the website. Use the links that are available in the app.
okay. All right. Our next broadcast is June 9th at 6:30. And hopefully, I think that date is when we're having the ladies come in to say what the ladies are having and presenting for us for annual Caribbean Lectureship 2025. So look forward to that around 6:30 on the in June 9th. And after that, June 23rd. Those are the 2 dates in June that you'll hear from us. And then finally, July, early in July, and then after that, we're in full swing in Barbados. Thank you very much, Sister Ja, for the update and for the clarity that you're able to bring to the process and the program. And congratulations to your team for making the event and the registration so manipulative that we could be able to deal with it.
Let
All
me
right?
just lastly, Brother
Yes.
Stewart, that while you mentioned the importance of the information, yes, we gather a database on every registrant. And the app also allows, because every registrant has an email address, the app allows for me to provide updates to participants. So for example, if there is if the transportation, the location for people to assemble for transportation is in a particular place, I could send a broadcast to everyone to say, stand at location C for transportation to the Hilton Hotel. It also allows for me to remind persons who have not yet paid to submit their payments. It allows for us to get the full names of registrants for us to prepare name tags. Each
Right.
person receives a name tag, and that database is going to be used. So when they're putting in, when you are putting in your information, ensure that the spelling of your name is correct. And some people are registering for others. Please make sure that the spelling, because the only thing we could use for the name tags would be the information contained within that database. That database can also be used even after the lectureship if we want to invite these participants to the next lectureship for St. Lucia. I'm sorry, for 2026. So all of that information is rich and is going to be used for the purpose of the lectureship. And we really implore participants to register. You're saying register early, but I could tell you some people were registered from November of last year. So actually, maybe it would be good for the next year's lectureship, but people who register before the 31st of December of the preceding year got a discount.
Okay.
So registering early gives you some benefit, gives you, a little perk. So
Yes.
we encourage people to register. Also, I am really appealing to people in the region. I'm not seeing as much regional registration. Usually at this time, we would have maybe over 100 Trinidadians registered by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing that in this case. Jamaica, we need some more numbers from Jamaica. Barbados being in close proximity to St. Lucia, to Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent, Antigua. We need to see the flood. We need you to start to come in and flood the registration so that we could have a hearty population of Christians converging on the Hilton Hotel come July 13th to the 16th.
Amen. Amen. All right. Let me see. Carol Amber saying hello, Sister Alison. I had noticed that special. Oh, I know that we did that one already. Very thorough indeed. Thank you, Sister Alison and Brother Stuart. Looking forward to our time together in the Lord. Thank you, Sister Anne Green. Appreciate that so much. Just as you mentioned there, the registration, I know that in some conferences they no longer print the programs because the app now carries the program and you can always look at the app to see what is coming and all of that. What's the app carries that information also?
When we get the program, we can make arrangements to have it onto the app. So imagine just
Oh,
walking with your phone and you have everything that you need.
that's right.
You have the
That's right.
program, you have all of your information.
Yes. Any updates, anything that changes, you'll be able
That's
to
right.
find that information.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so that's it, and that brings us to the end, as they say in the media house. That's a wrap. That brings us to the end of today's program. That was Sister Alison Ja coming out of St. Lucia, giving us an update on the registration. Listen out for us for next week, which is the 9th of June, for information concerning the programs, the exciting programs that the ladies have for all the women and all our mothers and sisters for 2025 in Barbados. All right. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Yes. Have a good evening, everyone.
All right. Thank you.